today's news, we will be talking about the Cold War, which has been affecting many, if not everybody. Everybody's minds are set to be against communism and Stalin's way of running things. Today's news main focus is how the Cold War is having our minds thinking who would strike first, the U.S. as Democrats or the Soviet Union as communists. But the conflict that everyone has doubt over is the Vietnam War that we have taken part of. We now go live to Rodrigo Ramirez, who is in Vietnam.
Good morning, Ernesto. I'm here live in Vietnam, which began back in 1960. Vietnam is not everybody's favorite war here in the United States. We call it in the living room war. This war has been the best war we have fought in or been part of. A lot of people and groups have their own opinion about this blood-gushing war that we have accessed in our own household. Vietnam's cause was because the Vietnamese rebelled towards our allies, the French. Therefore, we are protecting them. We now have footage from one of our other cameras.
Much of the day's fighting is left to the regional forces, the local people's militia. The communists blocking the road are dug into the wastelands just south of Quang Tri, sand dunes which stretch endlessly miles from the ocean. The North Vietnamese bunkers are less than 50 feet away. Communists answer with AK-47s, machine guns, and more grenades. It's impossible to tell at any moment whether the fire in the air and the explosions on the ground are coming from one side or the other. Sometimes a soldier appears in a strange place a bit distant from the battle. We don't know what side he's on. That's Vietnamization. Everybody looks alike. The ranking South Vietnamese officer quickly decides the communists have been flushed out. He urges his men forward to finish them off. Up the road, civilians sense that the fighting is over, that the road is open. They come racing down on motorcycles and trucks. Another premature decision. AK fire rings out from a distant bunker. And the communists still have another surprise. The road is mined. It's mined to prevent tanks from coming down, but mines are not very discriminate. A truckload of refugees goes up in smoke. Women, children, babies. Some are dead, some are not dead. By evening, government spokesmen are saying another grand victory has been won in Quang Tri province. The situation is once again stabilized. But there will be more fighting and more words. Words spoken by generals, journalists, politicians. But here on Route 1, it's difficult to imagine what those words can be. There's nothing left to say about this war. There's just nothing left to say.
Thank you, Rodrigo, for your footage of the Vietnam War. This war has everyone's mind thinking why. Why has the U.S. entered this war, especially if they see it wasn't going to be an easy war? Society has and always has questioned the U.S. government involvement in Vietnam. Today we are going to talk about the Bay of Pigs and how the mission failed. The mission failed because John F. Kennedy, President of the U.S. in 1961, didn't have enough information from our investigators. Another reason that the mission failed was because Fidel Castro knew that the U.S. wanted to invade Cuba. U.S. wanted to invade Cuba because they wanted to stop the spread of communism. We have pictures of the invasion. Live from Berlin. As you can see, the airlift is taking place right above us. The airlift is for the United States to drop off natural resources to Berlin. Berlin has been divided into four zones: United States, France, and Italy, and as Western Berlin. And the other side will be the Soviet Union taking over East Berlin, the communist side. Now we have footage of Soviet soldiers patrolling on the east side of the Berlin Wall. We gotta be careful because these are vicious soldiers. Where they go? What you've been waiting for. The news that everyone's been waiting to hear and see. The Soviet Union was found guilty of placing destructive weapons in Cuba, a threat to the United States and to the people that live here.
Shall we have a look at what the Soviets are doing in Cuba? May we have the presentation, please? Now, ladies and gentlemen, if you will observe in photograph.
Now we go to Jose that has more information towards the Cuban Missile Crisis.
Fidel Castro and Soviet leaders weren't able to keep it away from the U.S. government as IU-2 aircraft has gotten good evidence of the denials of the